I have a confession to make.
Oh.
And I feel like I'm speaking for a lot of people listening right now, specifically the guys, but honestly, this dynamic is so human, so everyone should probably lean in.
Okay, you've got my attention.
I have this recurring loop in my dating life. It's almost like a glitch in the simulation.
A glitch? That sounds ominous.
It feels ominous. Picture this, okay? I'm on a date, or maybe it's, the third or fourth time we've hung out. Things are going objectively well. We're laughing. The conversation is flowing. There's no awkwardness. And then she looks at me.
Ah.
And it's that look, the one, a little sparkle, a little softness.
It's a signal.
Exactly, the signal. And she drops a compliment, a real one.
Okay.
Not just like nice shirt, but something with a bit more weight. Something like, you have such a grounded energy, or I really love how passionate you are about your work.
Right. The kind of thing every guy is, conditioned to wait for. It's the green light.
Right. And in my head, the scoreboard just exploded.
Yeah.
Fireworks, confetti. I think, okay, I did it. I won.
Mission accomplished.
Exactly. Mission accomplished. And I physically feel my shoulders drop. I relax. I lean back. I start feeling safe.
And that is precisely the moment you have lost.
See, that is the part that drives me absolutely insane, because almost invariably, shortly after that moment of peak validation, that moment where I feel the safest, she pulls away, or the vibe it flattens, the spark dies. And I'm left standing there looking at my phone thinking, but she just told me I was amazing. How did we go from you're amazing to I'm busy this weekend in 48 hours?
It is the paradox of the compliment.
Yeah.
And it's one of the most baffling, sort of counterintuitive dynamics in human psychology, but it is also one of the most predictable.
Predictable.
Absolutely. If you look at the behavioral data, what you experienced wasn't bad luck. It was a pattern, a very, very common one.
Well, that's why we're here today, to exercise this ghost. We're unpacking a stack of sources that, frankly, they kind of blew my mind.
They're pretty potent.
We've got a deep breakdown on something called deepening your video idea, which has these notes on tension and behavioral loops. And then there's this really fascinating script called the compliment trap.
And we also have a concept that I think we're going to spend a lot of time on later. It's called the dark art of disinterest.
Which, I have to be honest, when I first saw that in the notes, my alarm bells went off.
I'm sure they did.
The dark art of disinterest. It sounds, I don't know, manipulative. It sounds like we're about to teach people some sleazy pickup artist tactic to trick people into liking them.
I had the exact same reaction initially. It's an intimidating name for sure. It sounds like dark triad stuff, you know, Machiavellianism.
Totally.
But when you actually read the source material, they're using dark in a more, let's say, Jungian sense like shadow work. It's about what's happening in the shadows of your own mind, not about being a villain to someone else.
So it has a different frame.
It's all about internal state management, not external manipulation. That's the key.
That is a crucial distinction we need to make right up front. We aren't here to teach you how to be a cold-hearted jerk.
Not at all.
We are here to analyze human behavioral psychology, the nature of tension, and this thing called validation addiction.
Exactly. And to do that, we are going to cover three main pillars in this deep dive.
Okay.
First, we have to completely rewire how you understand a compliment. Spoiler alert. It's usually a mechanism to reduce tension, not a reward for your performance.
Which hurts my ego a little bit, but I'm ready to hear it.
I think we all feel that. Second, we're going to look at the overjustification effect. This is a fancy psychological term for why you, specifically, are conditioned to fail this test. Why your brain betrays you the moment you hear, good boy.
Okay. The deep conditioning.
And third,
the solution. That dark art framework. How to become what the source calls the mountain instead of the beggar.
a journey from confusion to clarity. That's what I'm hoping for.
That's the goal. So let's start at the beginning. Part 1. The mission accomplished trap. I want to drill down into this feeling I described, because logic dictates that compliment equals increased interest.
It should?
Right. If I'm at work and my boss says, great job on that report, it means I'm secure. It means I'm doing the right thing. It's positive reinforcement.
In a logical environment, yes, 100%. If you are building a bridge or balancing a spreadsheet, positive feedback is a confirmation of accuracy. It's a closed system.
But attraction is not a spreadsheet.
Attraction is not a spreadsheet. It is a dynamic, living force. And the source material argues that a compliment in dating often signals something very different. It often signals that attraction has stopped growing.
Stopped growing. Wait, what?
Think about the physics of it. Attraction is a climb. It's a chase. It involves momentum, forward movement. When someone stops to compliment you, they are essentially pausing the climb to set up camp.
Yeah.
It marks a shift from the chase to comfort. And comfort in the early stages is not your friend.
So when I feel that mission accomplished relief, that's me reacting to the comfort.
You are reacting to the safety, and this is where the conditioning comes in. I mean, think about your childhood. Think about school.
Oh, God. The gold stars, the stickers on the homework.
The bold stars, the grades, the sports trophies. We are trained from the time we are 5 years old that life is a series of tasks. You perform the task, you struggle, you work hard.
And then an authority figure validates you. Good job.
Exactly. Good job. And the moment you get the good job, what do?
You stop working, you put the pencil down,
Yeah.
you hand in the test, the stress is over.
Your nervous system switches modes. This is biological. It's not just in your head. You switch from the sympathetic nervous system, which is your alert, dynamic hunter mode, to the parasympathetic nervous system.
The rest and digest.
Rest, digest, comfort. Your body literally gets the signal that the struggle is complete.
So in a dating context, when she says, "You're so handsome," my body literally goes, "Okay, the hunt is over. We killed the mammoth. Time to nap."
Precisely.
Right.
And that is the catastrophe. Because in the early stages of dating, attraction is the hunt. It is that dynamic, alert energy.
The thing that got her attention in the first place.
The very thing. When you feel safe, you stop generating the energy that created the attraction. You become predictable. You become, well, boring.
I stop trying.
Oh,
That's what it is. I start texting back instantly. I stop teasing. Just become this, like, puddle of gratitude.
You take your foot off the gas because you think you've crossed the finish line, but the source material is arguing that the compliment isn't the finish line.
It's a rest stop.
It's a rest stop on the side of the highway. And if you unpack your sleeping bag and decide to stay there, she's going to get up and keep walking without you.
That is a terrifying metaphor, but it makes so much sense. I've definitely felt that shift in myself. I get the compliment, and suddenly I'm terrified of losing it.
Yes.
I switch from playing to win to playing not to lose.
And playing not to lose is the least sexy vibe a human being can project. It's a defensive crouch. It's needy.
Okay, so if comfort is the enemy here, what is the friend? What is the actual fuel of attraction? This has to bring us to part 2, the physics of attraction.
The sources are very, very clear on this. Attraction is fueled by 2 things: tension and uncertainty.
Tension and uncertainty, which are 2 things I generally try to avoid in the rest of my life.
Of course.
I want my bank account to be certain. I want my car to be certain it's going to start.
Of course you do. Because in survival, certainty is good. It's safety. But in romance, certainty is death.
Wow.
The source uses this concept of movement. If the outcome is locked in, there is no movement. It's static. Think about it this way. If you are watching a movie and 5 minutes in, you know exactly how it ends, do you keep watching?
No, I'm on my phone. I'm scrolling. I've checked out.
You've checked out, exactly. And we have some really specific research in the notes that backs this up. The Whitchurch, Wilson, and Gilbert study. Did you get a chance to read through the methodology on this one?
I did. And I have to say, it's kind of mean. Yeah. Social psychologists are brutal people.
They really are. They design these elegant but sometimes cruel experiments, but the results are undeniable.
Break it down for us. What did they do?
So they took a group of women, college, I believe, and showed them Facebook profiles of men. Just, a few photos, basic info.
Standard stuff.
And they split these women into 3 groups. Group A was told, these guys viewed your profile and they liked you a lot.
Okay, so that's the sure thing group, the he's into you group.
Right. Group B was told, these guys viewed your profile and they liked you an average amount.
The lukewarm group. Ouch! Nobody wants to be in that group.
Nope. And then there's Group C, and this is the key. They were told, these guys viewed your profile, but we aren't sure if they liked you or not.
The uncertainty group. The mystery box.
The mystery box. Now, if you follow the standard reciprocity principle in psychology, which basically says we like people who like us, you would expect Group A to be the clear winners.
Logic would dictate Group A wins. She likes me, so I like him. We're safe together. It's simple.
It's simple. It's safe. But that is not what happened, not even close. The women in Group C, the ones who had absolutely no idea where they stood, reported the highest levels of attraction to the men.
So the not knowing was more attractive than the knowing.
By a significant margin.
Why? What is physically happening in the brain to cause that? Because uncertainty usually feels like anxiety to me.
It is a form of anxiety, but the brain often misinterprets that low-grade anxiety as excitement. There's a specific mechanism at play here that the sources call mental incubation.
Mental incubation. I like that term. What does it mean?
Well, think about cognitive load. If I tell you Dave likes you, your brain files that information away. Okay, Dave is an ally, Dave is safe, done. The file is closed, you don't need to process it anymore.
It's a piece of data.
It's a piece of data that requires no further action. But if I don't know, if I say, Dave might like you, but he also might think you're annoying, the file stays open on your mental desktop. Your brain keeps running these background processes to try and solve the puzzle.
The spinning wheel of death.
The spinning wheel, exactly. You start replaying interactions. Why did he look at me that way? Why did he take 3 hours to text back? What did that emoji really mean?
The loop. The spinning loop.
The spinning loop. And here is the kicker. This is the really important part. The source argues that we perceive this mental expenditure, this time and energy spent thinking about the person, as love.
Right.
Or at least as intense attraction.
So we confuse obsession with affection.
We think, I can't stop thinking about him, so I must really, really like him.
Oh, wow. So the attraction isn't happening when I'm with her. It's happening when I'm not with her and she's trying to figure me out.
A huge part of it is you are taking up real estate in her mind. If you are 100% available and 100% transparent from the beginning, you are evicted from that real estate because there is no puzzle to solve.
That is wild. It's like, by being too nice, too clear, too mission accomplished, I'm actually robbing her of the fun of the obsession.
You are robbing her of the mystery, the chase. Now, I have to play the role of the responsible adult here for a second.
Please do, because I can hear some people listening thinking, okay, so the lesson is I should just be confusing and toxic and never give a straight answer.
And that is absolutely not the takeaway.
Yeah.
No. The source material has a very specific warning. They call it the fear caveat.
Right. Newer research suggests there's a tipping point. It's not a linear scale.
Exactly. If the uncertainty becomes too high, it triggers actual fear, specifically fear of rejection. If she thinks you're just playing games or that you're genuinely uninterested or that you might be cruel or a narcissist,
Your brain will protect her.
her brain will protect her. She will shut down. She will detach. Desire cannot exist where there is legitimate fear.
So it's not about being a ghost. It's not about being an enigma for the sake of it. It's about balance.
It's about dynamic tension.
Yeah.
That's the sweet spot. She knows you're there. She knows there's a vibe, there's interest, but she doesn't know the final outcome.
It's the difference between watching a sports game live versus watching a replay where you already know the final score.
Perfect analogy.
Wow.
You need to keep the game live.
Keep the game live.
I love that. Okay, so we've established that tension is the fuel. Certainty is the brakes. Now let's bring this all back to the specific moment of the compliment. Because this is where I think most guys get tripped up. We think the compliment is part of the game. We think it's a point on the scoreboard. But the sources suggest something else entirely.
This is part 3, decoding the compliment. And there is a quote in the notes that I think deserves to be, I don't know, tattooed on the inside of your eyelids.
Okay, lay on me.
Her compliment says more about her state than about your value.
Her compliment says more about her state than about my value.
Yeah.
That requires a massive perspective shift because we are egocentric creatures. We think everything is about us.
Of course we do. It's human nature. If
Yeah.
someone says you're funny, we think, I am objectively funny, and she's evaluating my performance and giving me an A+. We see it as a grade, a scorecard.
But you're saying it's what? It's a symptom of something else.
It's often a form of emotional regulation.
Emotional regulation. Yes. Let's go back to that high tension moment we talked about. You're on a date. There's a lull in the conversation. Not an awkward one, but a charged one.
Right.
You're looking at her. She's looking at you. The eye contact is held just a second too long. The sexual tension is palpable.
It's heavy. The air feels thick.
It feels thick. It's exciting, but it's also high pressure. For many people, it's deeply uncomfortable. And what do humans do when the pressure in the boiler gets too high?
They need a release valve.
They need to let steam out. So she blurts out, "You're actually really easy to talk to," or "You have such nice eyes."
She's popping the balloon.
She's popping the balloon. She is resolving her own anxiety. She's trying to make the moment safe again. And the tragedy is the man thinks, yes, I leveled up. The tension worked.
When in reality, she just killed the tension that was driving the attraction because it was getting too intense for her comfort level.
She literally couldn't handle the heat, so she opened a window.
That is Devastating, actually, because I can think of so many times where I took that bait. She breaks the silence with a compliment, and I immediately jump in and say, "Oh, thank you. You're great, too."
Yeah.
And we both start giggling, and the entire vibe just evaporates.
You colluded with her to kill the tension. You helped her lower the stakes. And once the stakes are low, the attraction drops.
The sources categorize these compliments, which I think is helpful. There's the tension release one we just talked about. But there's also the "I miss you" text, which I always thought was pure romance.
I miss you is a tricky one. It can be genuine, of course. But often, especially early on, I miss you isn't a statement of deep soul-level longing.
What is it then?
It is a statement of insecurity. It often translates to, I am feeling uncertain about where you are. I am feeling a lack of object permanence. Please text me back so I can feel secure again.
It's a ping. It's sonar. Are you still there?
It's a ping. Absolutely. And if you ping back immediately with, I miss you too, baby, you have resolved her uncertainty, you've closed the loop, you've made her feel safe, and you've killed the mystery.
And then there's the darker category, the one you mentioned before, manipulative flattery.
Yes. This is where we get into the dark psychology side of things.
Right.
Exaggerated praise that is specifically used to gain compliance.
We see this in dating, but man, we see it everywhere. It's the "you're the only one who can help me" routine.
You're so big and strong. Can you help me move this couch? You're so smart. You're the only one I trust. Can you finish this report for me? It is flattery that has been weaponized to lower your defenses.
And it works. That's the problem. It works on me all the time.
Of course it works. It works because of part 4 of our outline, the internal trap. This is about the overjustification effect and validation addiction. It's about why we are so susceptible to this.
Let's get into this overjustification effect, because I remember studying this in Psych 101, but I never, ever connected it to dating. This is the study with the kids and the markers, right?
Yeah, the classic Lepper, Green, and Nisbet study, yes. So you take a group of kids who love drawing. They just love it. They draw because it's fun. It's an intrinsic motivation.
They're doing it for the joy of the art, pure expression.
Right. Then the researchers start giving them a reward, a gold star, a certificate every time they draw. At first, this seems great. The kids draw even more.
Okay, it seems to be working.
But then the researchers stop giving the rewards.
And the kids stop drawing?
They stop drawing, or they draw with significantly less passion and creativity. Why? Because their brain rewired itself.
They weren't doing it for themselves anymore.
They stopped drawing for the love of it and started drawing for the reward. The intrinsic motivation was replaced by extrinsic motivation.
Okay, so apply this to the guy on the date.
You start the date being charming, funny, playful. You are doing it because that's who you are. You are, as the source says, the king of your reality, amusing yourself.
I'm intrinsically motivated. I'm just having fun being me.
Then she gives you the reward, the compliment. You are so funny. Your brain goes, oh, that felt good. I want another one of those.
And suddenly, I'm not joking to amuse myself. I'm joking to get another. You're so funny. I'm chasing the hit.
You start performing, you become the jester, and people can smell the difference between a king and a jester from a mile away.
What's the difference?
The king is self-contained. He's the source of his own amusement. The jester is looking around the room after every joke to see if people are laughing. He needs the audience's approval.
It's a subtle shift in energy, but it's palpable. It's the difference between confidence and neediness.
And the source material has a brutal but very true line about this dynamic. The one trying the hardest has the lowest status.
Oof, that stings. But it's true. The moment you look like you're trying too hard.
You've lost. It's the beggar versus king dynamic. The beggar needs external validation to feel worthy. His self-esteem is a roller coaster.
Totally.
If she texts back, he's high. If she doesn't, he's low. If she compliments him, he's a god. If she critiques him, he's trash.
He's completely reactive. His state is determined by her.
He is a slave to her feedback. And when you receive a compliment and you over-celebrate it, when you say, oh my God, thank you so much, that means the world to me, you are signaling I am a beggar and you just tossed me a coin, I am starving and you just fed me.
And a king doesn't freak out over a coin.
No, a king might nod. He might smile. But he expects the coin. Or better yet, he doesn't even care about the coin because he owns the bank.
He owns the bank. I like that. So the problem isn't the compliment. The problem is that we are conditioned to react like beggars instead of kings.
Correct. The enemy is your own internal feeling of relief.
So how do we fix this? How do we rewire decades of conditioning?
Yeah.
This has to bring us to part 5, the solution, the dark art of disinterest.
Let's revisit that name. dark art.
Yeah, I'm still a little hung up on it. It sounds like I need to wear a hood and chant in Latin in a basement somewhere.
No Latin required, I promise. Dark, in this context, refers to the subconscious, the intuitive. It's about operating beneath the surface layer of social pleasantries in that shadow space. And disinterest is the word that trips everyone up.
Because disinterest sounds like indifference. It
Ah.
sounds rude. It sounds like ignoring her.
It absolutely does not mean ignoring her. If you ignore someone because they complimented you, you are still reacting. You are doing a performance of being cool. It's still about them.
It's like, look how much I don't care, which just proves how much you actually care.
Exactly. True disinterest is internal. It means you are unmoved. It is a state where external opinions, positive or negative, weigh almost nothing against your own self-concept.
The sources use a metaphor here that I found really, really helpful. The mountain.
It's the central image of this entire philosophy. It's perfect. Imagine the person, man or woman, this applies to everyone, is a mountain.
Okay.
The weather changes constantly. Sometimes it's sunny, that's the compliment. You're great, you're handsome, you're so smart.
And sometimes it's stormy. She's moody, she's distant, she's critical. That's the criticism or the lack of validation.
Right. But does the mountain move because the sun came out?
No, it just sits there. It's a mountain.
It might appreciate the warmth. It feels nice on the rocks. But it stays rooted. It doesn't change its shape to chase the sun. And when the storm comes, it doesn't crumble. It just waits for the weather to change because it knows it will.
So the goal is to be the mountain. To transition from asking, did I pass the test, to knowing I am the standard.
That is the core shift. I am the standard. If you know deep down that you are smart, her telling you you are smart isn't news. It's not new information. It's just her catching up to reality.
You're catching up to reality. That is such a powerful frame. It stops you from feeling like you need to thank her for the information. It's like, yeah, I know. Glad you noticed.
But you have to believe it. You can't just fake it. If you don't believe you're the mountain, you'll just be a pile of gravel pretending to be a rock, and people can tell.
So how do we practice this? Because beliefs are hard to change, but behaviors are easier. The sources give us some specific micro behaviors, actionable things we can do the next time someone says, hey, I like your style. This is part 6, actionable tactics.
The first and most important tactic is called the pause rule.
The pause rule. Break it down.
It's designed to address the reflex we talked about earlier. The reflex to bridge the gap. She says, you're cute. Your anxiety spikes. You want to kill the silence, kill the tension, so you instantly fire back, you too.
It's like a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Hot potato of validation.
Exactly. The pause rule says, do nothing for 1 beat. 1 full second. Breathe. Look at her. Let the compliment land in the air between you and just sit there for a moment.
That sounds so simple, but in the moment, that 1 second feels like an eternity.
It feels like an eternity because you are fighting your conditioning. You are fighting the urge to be a good boy and say thank you immediately. But by holding that silence, you break the jester script. You show you aren't desperate for the feedback.
Yeah.
You show you are comfortable with the weight of her words. You're not scared of them.
You're holding the tension instead of releasing it. You're showing you can handle it.
Exactly. You're letting the tension marinate.
Yeah.
And then you follow it with the second tactic, low energy acknowledgement.
Low energy. It's about the physics of energy transfer, right?
Yes. In the beggar model, she sends high energy with the compliment, and you frantically send high energy back. Oh my God, thank you so much. You are amplifying it, matching and raising.
Right.
In the mountain model, the energy hits you and stops. It's absorbed. You are a container.
So what does that look like in practice? What do I actually say or do?
It can be as simple as a half smile, a little smirk,
Hmm?
or if you want to use words, a simple I know.
I know. That takes guts. Isn't that arrogant? People are going to think I'm a jerk.
It's all in the tone. If you say it like a jerk, I know, then yes, it's arrogant. But if you say it playfully, with a little twinkle in your eye, it's incredibly attractive. It communicates, I am comfortable with who I am, and I'm glad you see it too.
Okay, so it's a playful confidence, not an egotistical declaration.
Precisely. Or another line the source suggests is, don't let it go to your head.
I like that one.
That one is great because it flips the script completely. She compliments you, and you jokingly warn her not to get too obsessed. It frames her as the one chasing you.
It keeps the ball in her court. It's a playful challenge.
It does, and that's the key. You want to avoid returning the serve immediately. If she serves you a compliment, hold the ball for a second. Put it in your pocket, maybe toss it back later when it feels right. But don't just volley it back instantly out of reflex.
Let's walk through some of the specific scenarios the source lists, because these are like the boss battles of dating.
They really are.
Scenario A, the I miss you text.
The classic trap.
So she texts, I miss you, at 10 p.m. The trap is texting back, I miss you too, within 30 seconds. We established that kills the tension.
It resolves her uncertainty too fast. Game over.
So what is the mountain move? The source suggests being playful.
The tactic is to ask a question that makes her invest more. Something like, yeah, what did you miss the most?
What did you miss the most? Oh, that's good. That is really good.
It's playful, it's a little cocky, but it forces her to elaborate. She can't just give a one-word answer. She has to type out, I missed your laugh, or I missed your voice. She has to deepen her own investment.
It turns the dynamic back to her. You are leading the interaction. You aren't just mirroring her anxiety with your relief.
Exactly. You are validating her feelings without collapsing into your own. You're holding the frame.
Okay, scenario B. This one is interesting. The test compliment. Something like, you're dangerous, or you're different from other guys.
This is a subtle one. When a woman says, you're dangerous, or you're a player, it's often what the community calls a shit test. She's poking you to see how you react. She's checking to see if you will qualify yourself to her.
The trap is playing into the label. She says, you're dangerous, so you start puffing your chest out and acting like some kind of bad boy.
Ah, I'm so bad.
You're performing. You're trying to prove her right, which means she is writing the script, and you are just an actor in her play.
So what's the mountain move here?
Dismissive agreement. She says, you're dangerous. You look her in the eye and say, sometimes.
Just sometimes.
Sometimes. And then, this is the most important part, you change the subject.
Oh, you don't even let it hang there.
No, sometimes. Anyway, did you see that movie we were talking about?
Yeah.
By changing the subject, you signal, your opinion of me, even a dramatic one like dangerous, is not the most interesting thing happening right now. I am not going to get stuck on it.
You stay the main character of the interaction. You don't let the compliment or the test become the main character. Precisely. You treat it like small talk. Nice weather. You're dangerous. Cool. Moving on.
That is such a subtle shift, but I can see how powerful it is. It signals that you aren't starving for her definition of who you are. You already have your own.
And this brings us to the final and I think most profound part of our deep dive. This is part 7, beyond dating. Because if you think this is just about getting girls, you are missing the entire point.
This is bigger.
This is about immunity to manipulation.
Yeah, the sources make a pivot here to the workplace, to family, to friends, because the compliment trap isn't just a dating thing. It's a human thing.
Absolutely. Think about the corporate compliment trap. Your boss calls you into the office. He says, you are the only person on this team who really understands how to execute. You're so talented. You're a rock star.
I feel good. My chest puffs out. I feel seen.
You feel seen. You feel special. And then he says, that's why I need you to come in this weekend and finish the Johnson file. I can't trust anyone else with it.
And I'm trapped. I'm completely trapped. If I say no, I'm admitting I'm not the rock star. I'm not the only one who can execute. I'm invalidating his praise.
Exactly. He buttered you up to lower your defenses. He leveraged your validation addiction against you. If your self-worth is dependent on him calling you talented, you will work for free to keep that label. You are easily manipulated.
It's the same with family guilt. You're such a good son. You always help your mother.
And boom, you're moving furniture for 8 hours on your only day off.
So the dark art of disinterest, this idea of being the mountain, is actually a shield. It's a defense system against this kind of thing.
It is sovereignty, emotional sovereignty. If praise cannot control your behavior, if you can hear you're the best and think, I know, but still say, no, I can't work this weekend, you are free.
You break the dependency loop. The overjustification effect can't get its hooks in you.
You stop getting high on the praise, so you start crashing when you get the criticism. You become steady, you become consistent, and ironically, that consistency is what makes you better at your job and better in relationships.
Because people respect the mountain. They might like the beggar, they might pity the beggar, but they respect the mountain.
Respect is the foundation of attraction, and it's the foundation of authority. You cannot have either without self-possession.
This has been heavy, but in a good way. It's a lot to process. Let's do a quick recap of the journey we just went on.
We covered a lot of ground. We started with the confusion. Why did she pull away after complimenting me? A question I think so many people have.
We realized that mission accomplished is a lie, that comfort is the enemy of early attraction, and tension, surprisingly, is the friend.
We dove into the Whitchurch study and learned that uncertainty creates mental incubation. It makes the mind loop, and that loop is often misinterpreted as attraction.
We identified relief as the true internal trap. We learned about the jester who performs for validation and the king who is the source of his own.
And we learn the solution, the dark art of disinterest, becoming the mountain, using the pause, using low-energy acknowledgement.
Not to be toxic, not
Yeah.
to be manipulative, but to be grounded.
To be unshakable.
I want to leave the listener with that final provocative thought from the source material. It's about the button and the machine.
Yes. This is a great way to visualize it. Think about a slot machine. If you push the button and you win the jackpot every single time, you get bored. You walk away, the machine is broken, it's not fun.
There's no game, no tension.
But if you push the button, if she pushes the button, which is the compliment, and the machine doesn't dispense the prize being your validation, your excitement, your relief, the machine glitches. It defies expectation.
And that glitch creates curiosity.
A huge amount of curiosity. Why didn't he react to see that confident? What else is going on in there? That curiosity creates a new, deeper wave of attraction. It's more powerful than the first one.
And here is the tease for the future, for what this could all lead to.
This mindset, this ability to hold the tension, it applies to even harder situations. We talked about compliments. It's low stakes, really. But what about silence? What about when she sends mixed signals? What about actual conflict?
Oh, man. Holding the tension in an argument. That's next level. That's a black belt move.
Most people rush to resolve conflict just like they rush to acknowledge a compliment, to get back to safety, to stop the bad feeling. But what happens if you apply the dark art of disinterest to an argument? What happens if you can hold the tension of a disagreement without panicking, without needing to fix it immediately? That is a level of power that goes far beyond dating.
Being comfortable in the storm, not just the sunshine.
That's it exactly.
Well, listener, we hope you're walking away with some new armor today, some new perspective. Don't be the beggar, be the mountain. And maybe, just maybe, try the I know line in the mirror a few times before you use it on a date.
Please practice the tone first. It is all about the tone. Do not be a jerk.
Stay curious, everyone. Thanks for diving in.
See you next time.